Hi everyone. It's that time of year where we're starting to think about going back to school, and if you're getting ready to go off to college for the very first time, you've probably been asking yourself, what the heck do I bring? I'm an incoming senior, so I figured I would sit down and share my advice and suggestions when you're packing for dorm life. Just one note, my suggestions are geared toward life in a traditional dorm rather than an apartment or suite style, just a traditional dorm with communal bathrooms and everything, because as a freshman, that is most likely where you will be living. A few quick tips before we get started. Number one, do your homework. Go on the residence life, campus living, whatever it's called, section of your school's website because you can usually find important information on there. If you know where you're living, which you probably do by now, you can look up things like the room dimensions, what furniture is included with the room, the dimensions of the furniture, electrical limitations for any appliances you might bring like an air conditioner, suggested packing lists, and lists of what not to bring. Just as an example, my school doesn't allow us to have bed risers, extension cords, octopus-style lamps with the multiple different heads, or halogen lamps, and our trash cans have to be made out of metal. This is really important because you don't want to spend money on stuff only to find out that you can't actually use it. Tip number two, contact your roommates. Once you get your roommate assignments, you should at least have your roommate's school email so you can get in touch with each other and talk about what you're going to bring. You can split the big things like the TV, the microwave, the coffee machine, etc. So that way you don't end up with duplicates of these big items that you have to cram into a pretty tiny room. Tip number three, look into shopping opportunities at your school. At the very least, you'll have a campus bookstore, but it's good to know if you can also get to a drugstore, grocery store, dollar store, Walmart, etc. If you forget something, or maybe you can buy some things when you get to school, which will cut down on how much you have to pack and transport. So the very first thing that I put on my bed is a mattress cover, which I have here. It's just a big case that goes over my mattress and then it zips shut at this end here. This is just a really good sanitary precaution because there's no way to really tell who or what has been on your mattress before you. Then you want to get a mattress topper. Those dorm mattresses, guys, are really hard. This is the one that I have. This is called egg crate foam because of all the little bumps and dips in it. But you can also find memory foam styles, gel styles. There are a lot of different options. These just add a really nice soft layer onto your bed and makes it a lot more comfortable. Over top of my mattress topper, I add a mattress pad. This one is quilted in the middle. It's just kind of like a fitted sheet and it's the same style with the corners and the elastic. And this just helps hold my bed sandwich together. You are, of course, going to want to get a sheet set. When you get your sheets, you will probably need to get a size twin extra long, which you'll find specifically in the dorm section when you're shopping. You might be able to find the mattress length online, but if there is any doubt about what size sheets you need, go for the extra long. I think it's a lot better to have to tuck in extra fabric than to have sheets that are too short to cover your bed. I also recommend having a lighter weight blanket, which is good not only for warm weather, but also if your school is like mine and the dorms blast the heat during the winter. This is the blanket in question that I use. This is just called a thermal cotton blanket because it's supposed to be really good at regulating your temperature. The holes in it make it breathable, so you can use it not only to keep warm, but also to keep cool. I got my blanket from a company called Residence Hall Linens, which I'll have linked down below because they are a great resource for getting all kinds of stuff for your room. I also got my mattress cover and my mattress pad and my mattress topper there, so make sure you check them out. Next, you want to look into getting some bed risers. These are just like little cups that go underneath each leg of your bed to boost the height so that you have more room underneath for storage. I'm not allowed to have bed risers at my school. Our bed frames just adjust instead. Your school may or may not be the same. Next up, you want to get a body pillow, which is a big, long, rectangular pillow. The pillow came separately, and then I was just able to get the cover right next to it. This is from Target. They had multiple different colors and patterns, so I went with this houndstooth. This is great because chances are you will probably be sleeping up against a really hard wall like cinder block or something. So this gives you a nice layer of cushioning. It's nice to cuddle with, and it just helps your bed feel more homey. Decorative pillows are also great. When it comes to setting up your dorm bed, you want to make yourself feel as at home as you can, and decorative pillows are a great way to do that. Another good thing to have is a boyfriend pillow, which is one of these with the armrest. These are great if you like to study or do your homework in bed so you have something to lean against, or if you're going to have friends over and you need seating. People often end up using their beds. This is just good to have on hand. Speaking of studying and doing homework in bed, if you are going to do so, it's a good idea to get a lap board. Now, I don't have one on hand, but it is just a big board, usually with cushions on the bottom that you can set across your lap. You can write on them, you can eat on them, and you can put your laptop on them, which is good because it helps protect your legs. It also allows for ventilation so that the heat from your computer can't escape, because otherwise, if you're putting a hot running computer on a soft, squishy bed, it can actually be a fire hazard. Power strips. Extension cords are often considered a fire hazard, so you want to get a couple of these instead. This plug goes into a wall outlet and voila, you have 5, 6, 7 other outlets that you can use for various devices like your lamp, your computer, etc. If you can, it's a good idea to find one with a built-in surge protector, which I think this one has. That's a good safety feature. Mine is from Staples, but you can find them other places as well. Okay, a microwave and fridge, because you're probably going to have food in your room. You're going to want to be able to make food, so you want to get one of these. Now, I have what is called a micro fridge, which is just a single unit where the microwave and the refrigerator are kind of linked together. When you run the microwave, the fridge automatically shuts off and then it automatically turns back on again when you're done. That just helps save power. You're really limited on how much electrical power you can have per room. I got my microwave through a company called My Micro Fridge. I think I will put them down below as well. They service different schools. I don't know if they service, every school nationwide or whatever, but they are worth looking into. You can buy a unit from them or you can rent. If you rent, not only is it less expensive, but you get free delivery and removal, and they actually do it for you, so your unit will be sitting there waiting for you when you move in. Again, this is a big thing to talk to your roommate about, because if you're both going to use it, which you probably will, one of you can get it and you can split the cost, so this way you don't end up with two. Some kind of fan or air conditioning unit. You might not have air conditioning in your dorm. This is the kind that I have had for a while. It's a tower fan. You can see it's built vertically so it doesn't take up as much space. I just got this from Rite Aid. It's a good space saver, but it's set very low to the ground, so like when my roommates and I would go to bed, I would have to put this up on a chair or something so we could feel the air while we were sleeping. You can also find clip-on styles, desktop styles. Depending on the climate where you live, you might need a fan for only part of the year. We can get away with using a smaller one in the spring because it doesn't get very warm, but when we go back at the end of August, early September, it's revoltingly hot, so I want to get a full-size fan, and then when I go home for probably Thanksgiving break, I will take it home with me. It's a good idea to consider bringing a floor lamp. You probably will have some kind of overhead lighting in your room or a lamp that comes with the room. We have overhead lighting in my room and it is not very good. An alarm clock is a good idea if you don't want to just rely on your phone or if you're paranoid and you want to have backup. And also a television. This is something to talk to your roommate about, again, because it's expensive and you'll both use it, so you can just share. If you don't already have one at this point, it's a good idea to get a laptop. You will have computer access if you don't have your own computer through either the library or computer labs on campus. The only downside to that is that those places aren't always open, and sometimes it'll get really busy, and that's not always the most convenient when you need to print a paper out for class. On a similar note, I recommend looking into taking your own printer to school with you for the same reasons. So you can print your stuff out whenever you need to without having to travel across campus, allow extra time, and deal with crowds. Something that I don't hear many college videos talk about, but I think is a really good idea to bring, is a paper shredder. If you're going to have any kind of credit or debit card receipt, slips from an ATM, you don't want to just throw that stuff out because it has your account number on it, or at least part of your account number, and if the wrong person gets a hold of that, maybe we're not thinking about this so much when we're going off to college, but identity theft is a problem. You don't have to get anything big and fancy. I just have a mini that I got from Staples. It's good to have one for safety's sake. You will want want to get a desk lamp. These come in a few different styles. You can get some that have organizer cups built into the base. I know Target carries those. Also, this probably goes without saying, but you'll want to get school supplies, your pens, your pencils, your highlighters, calculator, graphing or scientific. I took my graphing calculator just in case. This might depend on what kind of classes you have to take. Index cards, notebooks, binders, all that kind of stuff. Those things you can usually pick up at your campus bookstore. One last suggestion for your desk chair. I recommend using it rather than bringing your own, because if you have a spare desk chair floating around, you are not going to be able to find a place to put that thing. They can be pretty uncomfortable, so if you spend a lot of time at your desk, if you're a desk studier like me, I recommend getting some kind of throw or cushion to put on your chair so it's more comfortable. If you are living in a dorm, you probably have a communal bathroom, so you can't store your stuff in the shower. You get to take it with you instead. That is where the shower caddy comes in. This is just one style. You see these all over the place. It's a specially shaped plastic bucket with holes in the sides and in the bottom as well, so that the water can drain out. This one is nice because it has a little soap dish. It has a couple little dishes here that you can put stuff in. There are kinds where this part is hollow and instead there's a separate miniature tote inside that you can just lift out for your morning stuff. These are pretty common. The only thing though is that sometimes the water doesn't run out very well, because I used to use these. The water would just like collect around the little holes in the bottom and it drove me nuts. You can use a mesh bath tote as well. I see a lot of those. It's just a little mesh tote bag with lots of little pockets that you can put stuff in. You can also get something like this, which is what I use now. I complained to my mom once about the water not draining out of my shower caddy, so she got me one of these. See, he even has little eyes on him. This is a hanging kind. This loop goes around your shower head, and then you have all these loops here that you can hang products from. But it's a really good invention, and the loops are adjustable. They can be a little hard to adjust, but you can just tighten it this way or loosen it as you need to. Next, you want to get some kind of wrap. This is one kind that's available. It has Velcro on it, so you can just wrap it around yourself and stick it like that. You can also use a bathrobe. That works perfectly well too. I recommend something like this because they're both more secure than a towel, but ultimately it depends on what you're comfortable with. I don't know about you guys, but I would rather not be walking through a college dorm wrapped in a towel that could come undone at any second. The shower shoes. I cannot stress this enough. You want to get a pair of shoes to wear in the shower or just in the bathroom. Seriously, even outside the shower, don't go walking around a communal bathroom in your bare feet. You're going to be sharing this bathroom with a lot of different people, and no matter how regularly they may get cleaned, they are still a breeding ground for bacteria. You can really easily pick up an infection like athlete's foot if you're going in there barefoot. So just get a pair of cheap flip-flops. You can go to Walmart, you can go to Old Navy. Their flip-flops are $2 or $3 a pair. You can go to the drugstores even. They often have flip-flops this time of year. Just some kind of water-resistant sandals to protect your feet. Hopefully this seems like common sense to get towels and washcloths, but you want to make sure that you have plenty of washcloths, specifically washcloths and underwear, because you need to take a fresh one every single day for hygienic purposes. The more of these you have, the less often you have to do laundry. And believe me, once the semester picks up, you very well may not have the time or the energy to do a load of laundry. So I recommend that you have plenty of these on hand. So that is all for part 1, and I will see you guys in part 2, which is linked down there. Thanks for watching.